till the end because the ingredients in that bread supports the collagen production. Did I get your attention here? And the bread is so simple to make in no time. And actually, the ingredients that I have, which is the sprouted buckwheat, sprouted quinoa, sprouted sunflower seeds, are now also available. You can buy off the shelf, or you can do yourself. I have recipes, of course, teaching in my YouTube about that. Okay, so let's start because it's so simple. Now, you put your bowl on the scale because we use grams, of course, and if, like me, you can put your food processor on the scale because it only depends on the blades inside. Whoopsies. My blade inside doesn't change when I put it back on. But if yours change, then use a bowl, okay? So we start simply with 140 of the sprouted buckwheat. So 140. And as you know, my recipes are easy to cut down or multiply or double up because it's all in grams. So, and then 42 grams of the sprouted quinoa. I use the quinoa that is multicolored because it has more nutrition. And then we have 32 grams of flax seeds, and that brings us to 214. 214, and then we have 32 grams of sunflower seeds, so that brings us to 246. There we go. And then we process until it's broken into bits. It doesn't have to be that long. It simply depends on your food processor. It depends on your blade. So you see, it's just just broken into bits, and then I put it into my bowl. There we go. To my bowl here. Just gonna pick up those seeds. There we are. The next step is we take a blender and we will make a flour now. So again, we take the buckwheat and we zero the scale and we use 90 grams. And then we add to that some more of the flax, 22 grams, so 112. And we just blend. It will turn into a flour. Why? Because the sprouted buckwheat, the buckwheat is sprouted. That's why. And then it has been dehydrated. That's why I can make a flour with it. And there you are. And again, it simply depends on your blender. Again, the knife and whatnot. So you just blend it until you make a flour. Then we add to what we had previously done on top. And now we're doing the wet ingredients this time. So we start with, again, zero the scale. Oh, the scale is at 0. There you go. 110 of water. And we add 80 grams of the date paste, which I have the recipe as well. The date paste, I made a video, so you can watch that. So that gives you 190. And then we add 90 grams of zucchini, so 280. The zucchini is peeled so that your bread doesn't turn green. So that's why I peel it. Or if you have a yellow zucchini, I guess it's not as important, but that's why I peeled it. Just a zucchini like this. So mine was green, so I peeled it. And then we add 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Please make your own. The one you get in the store, the one that they sell is pasteurized, and it tastes metallic. So make your own. There we go. Lemon juice. And then we add as also salt and sea moss. So sea moss, nourished sea moss, is the one that I recommend. Has 92 of the 102 minerals that we need. So I simply add that to all my recipes. Then I don't have to take supplements, right? There you go. Oh, it's a quarter. So I have a quarter teaspoon in there. And then we add a quarter of the salt. I use the Himalayan salt. It's been in the, inside the mountain for so long, so you would think it's not polluted, right? There you go. And we blend. There we are. As long as all we need to achieve is that everything is blend. There is no bits of zucchini or anything. It's just a liquid now. Before you add the liquid, mix, because you have your flour and you have the ingredients that are broken in small pieces. So mix that first, then add the liquid. Oh, there you go. There's a piece of zucchini that didn't make it. We're just going to take it out. It's just a small little piece. There we are. Now we mix it. So when you mix, it's a good idea to have more of a shallow bowl than a deep bowl, because it can really help with seeing all that needs to be mixed. A deeper bowl is not as easy. So make sure you mix all the liquid with all the dry ingredients. And you can fold what's at the bottom on top. There you go. That way you make sure that you reach for all maybe the drier one that are at the bottom here. There you are. Just like that. This is a spreading knife. And because it's rounded and my spatula is concave, it's a good tool to use to clean your spatula here. Okay. The next step is we are going to shape the bread. This is a microfiber cloth. I use it because, and I cut the seam around, like the thick edge, I cut that out. Then I can easily put, you see the Teflex sheet, because it's got the fiber cloth underneath, it doesn't move. So that's why I use that. Now we'll put all that we have here on top of our Teflex sheet. The way I make my ingredients is that I make it so that it's not too wet. It depends on the recipe, of course. But this one, you can do it this way, where it's not too wet. You see why in a second it makes a difference that I do it that way. Okay, there you go. And I did this. Why did I do this? You see I'm folding, and here in the center I meet both pieces. And I do the same here. In the center, both meet. And that gives me a kind of a square, there you go, in the middle. Then on top, this is the size of my bread that I like to make, 11 inch by 11 inch, 30 centimeters square. I like to make it that size for the thickness. If you don't have, and I'm using a Tiflex sheet. You can use a parchment paper. Because unlike when you are spreading dough, I'm not adding flour on top of my bread. So I'm just leaving it as is. That's why I need to cover so that it doesn't stick to the rolling pin. Then what you do is you cut the excess, this, like this, but then you'll see that I'm missing some bits here in the corner. So I take what ended up on the outside, add it back here to make sure that I complete my bread. There you go. Same here. I'll take this one, put it on that corner. There you are. I'll give it a little tap. Just tuck it in. There you are. And then I put this back on top. I'll smooth it first with my hands, and then I'll go again with my rolling pin, just to make it all even. There we go. Again, can use my offset spatula. The offset spatula that I have is from Paderno. I like this one because it resists. It's not too flimsy, so I like to work with that one. Here, I can see that part here in the middle needs a bit more dough, so I'm just going to move it. See, it's very, very simple, right? So simple to do. Okay. Now that we've done that, the next thing is to, and I'm going to put this here. The next thing is to create the size of the bread that you like. So, you can divide it in however, in 4, in more pieces. You choose what you want to do. But I just want to show you different things you can do as well. So let's say if we were to do like a slice. So and you decide on the size, of course. I'm just going to move this over so I have a bit more room. Don't need this anymore. There you go. So you can say, well, I want my slice of bread to be that size. There. So square like that. You could also do something else. Or they're right here. You could say, well, it would be nice if my bread was oval. Imagine, how it presents on a plate, which is nice. So you can do oval as well. Or you might have at home children that are a little fussy about eating healthier. Let's put it this way. So you can use shapes. So I have two shapes of a hearts here. So you can do your bread in the shape, I'm just looking here, there you go, I'll put it this way, in the shape of a heart. Bigger, smaller, they are dinosaurs, Mickey Mouse faces, unicorns. I mean, there's all sorts of cookie cutter, right? So you can use those. You can also say, well, this is like a bit of a, a flowery kind of edge. So you can do that. That will make a cute little bread. And just to finish it up here, I'm just going to put one more oval. There you go. And then what you do is you dehydrate the bread. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can put your bread onto a parchment paper in the oven. It might not be raw, of course, because you have to keep it under 118 degrees. And when you do it in a dehydrator, it pulls out the content water. It dehydrates to the core of the food. So you wouldn't have that in the oven. So you would have to, the bread will keep 2 weeks in the fridge. For you, it'll be maybe just, 3-4 days, just eat it, and then it'll be cooked. So now that we have decided on the shape, carefully take them off the sheet, put them on your tray, and of course, what you can do, you can take the pieces here, put them back together, and do more of the bread. That's not wasted. Go. And another little heart here. And I'm just going to show you, actually, there we go. You can just put it back together just like that. Go. And that way we can use everything. Use the rolling pin one more time. You feel it when you roll, you feel the bump. So it helps you to determine if you have rolled it enough. There. This time I will just do like, there you go, triangle like this. I think that's going to be great. So you can play. It's like dough, right? You can make it any shape you want. There we go. 1, 2, and I just need to make more room. And you see what's neat about the fact that it's not too wet? You can move it around. There. So just as simple as that. You dehydrate the bread. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can put your bread onto a parchment paper in the oven. It might not be raw, of course, because you have to keep it under 118 degrees. And when you do it in a dehydrator, it pulls out the content water. It dehydrates to the core of the food. So you wouldn't have that in the oven. So you would have to, the bread will keep 2 weeks in the fridge. For you, it'll be maybe just, 3-4 days. Et voilà! And here it is. I always start in French, don't I? So here's the bread that is ready now. And as you know, bread is so versatile. You do lunch, you do breakfast, you snack, it's just so handy to have on hands. And then you can do a sandwich, you can do an open face, you can toast it as you like. I will show you some of my suggestions, so stay with me. Et voilà, nutritious and delicious. And as you know, the bread is made with sprouted seeds, so it's sprouted seeds and sprouted grains. So it's full of nutrition, but it's also easy to digest, and it's gluten-free. You got to try this. Children will love it because the jam is delicious, the avocado mousse is delicious, the dill nut cheese is delicious. I know because I served that at my cafe, and children loved it, loved it. So I know yours will as well. Oh, I forgot to say, there'll be a link in the description where you have a link to my website with the recipes. The avocado mousse is already on my YouTube. I don't think the dill nut cheese is, and the jam isn't. So there'll be a link that brings you to my website, and you'll have those recipes there. Enjoy. Let me know how it turns out for you. Love food that loves you back.